So, as Nora mentioned, and I'll try to stay out of the way here, my name's David Zajchowski, and I work here in the Human Resources Department here at Rollins, and I've been here almost 13 years. And I had just put up here some of the different places, the different roles, and different organizations that I've worked in, just to give you some background information on where I've been. So you can see here that I have been a college recruiter before, so I have gone out to colleges and universities across the country and recruited undergrad and MBA students, and I've had various different roles working in the recruiting area, so I'm familiar with the other side. So when you're starting to interview with organizations, I'm the person that you're interviewing with in an organization. So those are just some of the industries and positions that I've held. Jennifer, do you want to mention a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, I'm the Assistant Director of HR, responsible for benefits and wellness for employees at Rollins. And I've been doing benefits and human resources for about 16 years now in progressive roles, starting in Chicago with Hewitt, which is now A&M Hewitt. So I work with a variety of different clients, including Disney, Coca-Cola, Campbell's Soup, among others. And then did some county government work with Orange County government before I came to Rollins about 3 years ago.
So I just wanted to give you some context of where we're coming from and where our experiences lie. So what are we going to talk about this afternoon? Salary and negotiation and benefits. It can be kind of a wide-ranging topic. So hopefully we can share some best practices and some information for you to take away from today's session that will be helpful once you start interviewing for internships and ultimately for your a full-time position upon graduation. So one of the things I want to start off with is talking about how to prove your value. And this is something that actually starts even before you work, even before you start walking into an interview process. You need to be able to demonstrate to an organization what value you're going to bring to them. And a lot of this is going to depend and give you that leverage that you might need when it's time to negotiate with an employer. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about this afternoon is talking about preparation and things that you do even before you receive a job offer. So what are those things that our employers are out there looking for? So part of my role that I have here at the college is I interview for staff positions here at the college. So depending on the position and the role that we are recruiting for, it could be a number of things. But I was able to find this wonderful article, and I can share this with Nora to share with you, that Forbes put out last fall, and it is a survey of NACE, which is the National Associations of College and Employers. They did a survey with a number of employers out there asking them what were the top 10 skills that they're looking for in 2015 graduates. And so I decided just to put these up here just to quickly show you what it is that employers are looking for when you start going to interview. And these are actually ranked in order of importance by employer. So number one is the most important thing. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I wanted to show you that these are the different skill sets that you all are getting during your educational experience here at Rollins. Whether it's defined like this or not, the classwork that you're doing, the projects, the organizations, internships, the part-time jobs that you have, these are all relevant and transferable skills that you are being able to demonstrate to an employer that you can add value and bring to the organization. So I'll share that article so you guys can take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Don't underestimate the value of your liberal arts education. I found some cool facts on the Rollins website. So you guys are in good company when you graduate from Rollins. You'll see that 38% of American CEOs have a liberal arts degree. The entire U.S. Supreme Court and 10 of the Nobel Prize winners here in the United States, including one from Rollins, all have a liberal arts degree. And more than 60% of Rollins students have strengthened their liberal arts education through an internship experience. So my point is there are a lot of things that you're getting out of your Rollins experience that are very valuable for employers. And it's trying to figure out how do you sell yourself and how do you demonstrate to an employer that these are the things that you can bring to the position and to an organization. So let's talk about some of the things to consider before you interview, right? How are you going to make a difference to an organization, and what are you going to bring to the organization that's above and beyond other candidates? One thing you need to recognize is when you start going out there and interviewing for jobs, you are going to be one of hundreds. The record for the number of applications received here at Rollins for one position has been 987. And that was for an HR assistant position in our office a number of years ago. And Miss Nora here is the person that was hired in that position out of that pool of 987. So when you're out there, you may think that you've got some great qualifications, you've got some great skill sets, but you don't always necessarily know what the rest of your applicant pool and what your competition is. And that's the role of a recruiter in the hiring organization, is they're going through those application materials and they're trying to find the best of the best. So some of the things that you need to think about as you prepare for an interview is what are you going to bring to an organization, not necessarily what's in it for you. That's where I see a lot of applicants make a mistake during an interview process, is talking about what they want out of the organization instead of what they can bring to an organization. So whatever you can do to make yourself look exceptional is ultimately going to help you when you get to a stage where it's time to potentially negotiate. So some things to help you prepare is how to go about researching company expectations and culture. So one thing to understand, a lot of large companies out there will hire lots of college grads all at the same time. And sometimes they don't have a lot of flexibility when it comes to salary. So for example, when I was a college recruiter working for a consulting company, we were hiring undergrads, MBA students from all over the US, Canada, and India to work in a variety of different roles. And I didn't have a lot of flexibility as a recruiter in being able to negotiate salary, for example. And a lot of it also depended on the cost of living or the geographical location of a position. So for example, I could be hiring a technical engineer who works in New York City, and also hiring a technical engineer working in Austin, Texas, doing the same job, but sometimes they got paid a difference of $25,000 or more to do the same job. So that's something to think about when you are preparing to interview with an organization. Meet with the wonderful staff at the Center of Career and Life Planning. They've got a number of resources available to you. You can do mock interviews. They've got salary data. You could get connected with other alumni and other individuals who have maybe worked or done internships at organizations that you're interested in. And a little bit later, I'm going to mention some of those resources to you and show you how to navigate some of them. Talk to alumni. It's a great way to network and meet other people and learn more about organizations that you want to work for. And I'm going to show you some of those online tools and tips to help you a little bit later in the presentation. If you are in a position to negotiate, try it, do it. It's all going to depend on size of organization, geographical location. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. So how do you go about researching salary for your career field? When you go into an interview, I don't recommend bringing up salary, but you always need to be prepared for it, because I will tell you as a recruiter, I'm always asking you what your salary expectations are. And I'll tell you why a recruiter or a hiring manager does that. A lot of organizations, they've got a budget, and say their salary budget is $50,000 and they don't have any flexibility in that. They want to know on the front end what your salary expectations are, because if you're seeking something that's $70,000 or $75,000 and you're way out of what the salary budget is for the position, a recruiter will use that as some selection criteria and take you out of the applicant pool, because they don't want to waste your time or their time if your expectations don't align with what they have to offer. So be prepared and know how to answer that type of question. Here at Rollins, our budgets are set, so it makes my job a little bit easier. Salary isn't open for negotiation, so I'm very open and transparent as a recruiter when I do an initial interview in making sure that folks understand what the salary is. And if they're not comfortable with it, they have the ability to opt out of the interview process. And I welcome that, so I don't waste their time, and we can continue to pursue candidates that would be a better fit. Be sure to know the salary range for your career field. And here are some resources that you may want to consider taking a look at. These are all resources that are available in the Career and Life Planning Center. But I put in parentheses what you would probably get out of some of these resources. So for example, Glassdoor.com will give you some really good salary information by company, but you could also go and look at something like Indeed.com and look at it by job type. So there are a number of things that you could go and do some research on to see what is somebody who's graduating with a biology degree here at Rollins who wants to go work at an entry-level biology lab position. You should know some of that information before you even get into an interview process. And I know that the Career and Life Planning Office also participates in various collection of data. So they have salary info that they could work with you on to understand what other grads and other recent alum have received in salary. So my point is use all the resources that are available to you. There's a lot of information out there. And if you prepare ahead of time, you'll be in a better position to negotiate later. So what do you do if you get that dreaded salary question during the interview, right? Well, here are some strategies. One is that because you did your research and you know what the salary is for the type of position that you're seeking, you kind of have an idea of what the range is. So I recommend giving a wide range, right? Give yourself some flexibility. So if a position you find through your research pays about $45,000 annually, tell the recruiter, you know, I'm looking for something between 40 and 55. That way, they know you're within range, and it gives you some flexibility in case there is some room for negotiation a little bit later. You don't want to necessarily pigeonhole yourself into something. Another strategy you could try, which doesn't always work, is you could try to redirect that question back to the recruiter and say something like, I'm interested in learning more about the position and salary expectations before I disclose what I'm looking for. You could try it depending on the type of organization, but you may come across as not the way that you're intending, so that strategy may not always work, and a recruiter may still really press you for some salary information. So my takeaway for this is just be prepared for that question when it does come up in the interview, because it will come up. And you don't want to say, I don't know, or you don't want to say something that's way out of whack. So congratulations, you all received your job offers because you're Rollins grads. So what do you do now, right? And these are probably some questions that will come to mind once you do get a job offer. What do I do if I get multiple job offers? That's a great position to be in, right? What's a 401k? What's an HRA? Why do those things matter? Why are they important? What's my responsibility in following up with a recruiter? And why does it seem so stressful? So I'm going to give you some strategies and some tips and some best practices to help you navigate some of this. So the first thing you want to do is evaluate your job offer. You do get an offer from an organization. You need to make sure you understand what the position is, the organization, what the salary benefits are, location, other factors and things that are important to you as part of the offer that you get from an organization. Always get it in writing. It is common practice for an organization to provide you a written appointment letter or a written offer letter. Sometimes it can be in the form of an email, which is okay, but that's okay for you to ask for them to provide that to you. That's just standard practice when a job offer goes out. And then take your time to make your decision. Don't let anybody pressure you. Don't feel like you've got to respond right away. It's okay to ask if you need some additional time. You may have other things on the horizon that you want to consider. And go back and review the research that you've done prior to going to an interview. Look at the notes that you took during the interview process. Look at the offer details. Make sure they align with the things that you're looking to do and what you want in a position once the position is offered. So what are some of those other things to evaluate? So I just wanted to drill down a little bit further and talk about the job itself. okay? Now that you've had an opportunity to interview with an organization, just remember they're interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing them. When you go on an interview, you're looking for all the visual cues to see if this is a culture, an organization, a job, a team that I could really see yourself working for, or a position that you could see yourself doing. You may go to an interview and find out that it's cubicle land and you don't want to sit in a cubicle all day, but that's what the position requires. That's okay if you decide that that's not what you're looking for in a position. But those are the kind of things that you want to take into consideration if you do get a job offer. Is what would you be doing every day? Is the organization going to provide me training that's going to enhance my career and the things that you want to accomplish? Do you get to travel? What's the culture of the organization look like? Do you have the ability to grow? And what are the people that you're going to be working with? Or is it a team that you could work with? So think about those things when an offer comes out. And then the company and industry itself. If you haven't given it some thought, maybe think about some of the different types of organizations or industries you want to work in. Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in industry? Do you want to work for nonprofit or small organization, large? Does it have a good reputation? What type of services and projects or products would you have an opportunity to work on? So think about things like that. And then what about your lifestyle? What do you like to do outside of work? Right? You're not at work all the time. So does the new job provide you some balance? Is it in a geographical location where you want to be after graduation and you're working? What's the cost of living? Is it going to be a lot more expensive to live in New York City versus Orlando? Does the city have, or does the state have state income tax or not? Are there other fees and things associated with the place that you're looking to live? So think about things like that. And then finally, total compensation. It's not just about salary. A lot of folks just focus on salary, but you need to think about the total compensation package and what are you getting when you go to work every day. Besides a base salary, compensation, commission, what kind of benefits, what other kind of intangible things make up that total compensation package. And that's where Jennifer's going to come up and talk a little bit about total compensation and benefits and what that means and what some of those examples are. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios. We've got a couple of job offers, okay, and I'm going to open it up to you to decide which offer do you think looks more appealing to you. So ABC company, now they're both the same position, so keep that in mind, is offering an annual salary of $40,000. But it lets you work remotely. So you can work from home, you can work from a desktop somewhere else off of the job site. And it allows you 5 weeks off a year, right away. And then your share of the medical cost is $600 a year, because that's going to be very important to you as you take a job. How much is your medical? And it's going to allow you education benefits, up to $10,000 a year. So if you want to continue your education, take classes. And then retirement. So they're going to start putting money aside into a retirement account for you right away, and they're going to do 5% of your income. They have great discounts on gym memberships. And then it is a Monday through Friday job, so 8 to 5, but working remotely. XYZ company offers you a similar position. Salary is $45,000, but you have to work at the corporate office. So you do have to drive into the office every day. You get 3 weeks off a year. You have to pay $1,000 a year in medical. You get $7,000 a year in education, but they do give you more retirement. They're going to give you 10% of your income into retirement. They have an on-site gym that you have access to at no cost, but they have flex time. So if you want to work 4 days a week, you can do that. Take 3 days off. So they do have a flexible schedule. So looking at those two, which one do you think appeals to you? Anybody have any? Want to take a stab?
Which one would you take?
Which one would you take?
Personally, for me, I would do the ABC.
Okay.
Although I would get paid less, I would have more time off, and as more towards education, and I want to continue my education.
Yep, so ABC company, because you have more time off and you get more education benefits. So the important thing is to look beyond just the compensation. So they're going to offer you the compensation up front. Make sure you're also diving into the benefits. And it's okay to ask, if it's not posted online, sometimes some of the companies will have all that information online that you can view in advance. Sometimes you can just ask, what are your benefit packages? What's your retirement? Do you have discounts, corporate discounts? What's the schedule look like every day? Are there commuter opportunities where you can work from home? So it is okay to ask those questions, make sure you get a complete picture of what that offer looks like. But long story short, there is no right answer. And one job offer may appeal to you more today, depending on what your needs are, but then the other one, 10 years from now, might look better for you. It just depends on where you are in your life cycle, what you're looking for in that particular job. So I want to talk about total rewards. Again, looking beyond just compensation, but what is total rewards? Well, total rewards is what makes up the whole package of a job for you. It's compensation, yes, but it's also the benefits. And I'm going to go into more detail about what these different attributes are. But what are the work-life satisfiers? How do you get that work-life balance? We're not here to just work all day, every day, but what are some ways you can balance that with your life expectations? Performance and recognition, and then how do you develop your skills and have more career opportunities? So looking specifically at compensation, is it a fixed compensation where it's a flat amount per year? Is it hourly? Do they offer bonuses? Do you have set targets that you have to meet where you maybe get bonuses if you meet those different goals? What are the opportunities for pay increases? Sometimes companies will offer annually, sometimes they might be quarterly, depending on the different expectations of the role. Some even offer cell phone stipends. If it's something where you have to be on call to work in a certain position, they might offer to pay for a cell phone. So those are just some different examples of how compensation can be more than just the fixed amount that you're going to see in your paycheck. And then development opportunities. What are the different programs that the employer offers for your development? There could be leadership programs, management programs. What does the training look like to make sure that you're going to have success in your position? Is it a formalized training? Is it something that's just on the job? Do you have peers or mentors that help you develop in the role? And then what are the different growth opportunities? Is it something that will offer you an opportunity to grow within the role and expand responsibilities in the role? Or are there other opportunities within the same organization to increase overall responsibilities, maybe management level? And then recognition and performance. So are there different reviews? Is there a formalized review process? Some corporations will do it once a year. It could be as often as quarterly for the reviews. But make sure that there is some kind of review process so that you know how you're doing. And you can offer feedback on offer feedback on how you want to grow. And ask your managers, what can I do better? What am I doing well? So make sure there's some opportunities for that. Also, awards and incentives. Are there different, again, targets that you have to meet where you get awards or incentives if you meet those different targets? What's the definition of meeting expectations in your role? Because that is going to be the baseline for a lot of the performance reviews. Are you meeting expectations, or then what are ways that you can even exceed those expectations? And then benefits. Benefits is a wide range of different things, and it can really vary depending on the type of organization that you work for. It could be most companies offer the standard medical, dental, and vision packages. The different programs can be different based on the employer and how much you might contribute to the different plans. But there are experts at every company that know the benefits. So don't be shy. Take advantage of those resources. Ask, what is the difference in the medical? How does the medical plan work? If you're not really familiar with those insurance plans, be sure you do ask for those different resources to help you. They could also include variable benefits such as pet insurance. Some employers find that there is a big need for pet insurance for their employees. They're offering that as well. Parking. Sometimes you have to pay for parking, depending on the employer, or sometimes they'll pay for parking for you. So that's considered a benefit that you don't have to pay. And then housing and meal subsidies. There are some employers who will offer a subsidy for different meals. Housing allowances, sometimes the meals are free and included just as part of being an employee of those different firms. And then work-life satisfiers. Again, how is the company helping you balance managing your career goals with your lifestyle so that you have a balance there? What does the time off look like? Do you get 5 weeks up front? Do you have to accrue time? Is it sick time and vacation time? Is it all in one bucket? So make sure you're understanding what those different leave policies are and how you can use those different times or those days off. Holidays can vary from organization to organization. Some have more than others. So make sure you look up and see what those different holiday opportunities are. What are the different wellness opportunities? Does the company have gyms or different wellness programs that help you or offer incentives to help you become more or healthier, whether it's financial wellness, giving you opportunities to learn more about retirement savings, or offering gym memberships to help you with your physical wellness. So what are the different areas of wellness that they help you with? And then corporate discounts, depending on the organization. Some might have a wide variety of discounts that you can participate in, so make sure you know what the different opportunities are there. And schedule and work environment. So what are the different ways that, there are a lot of companies can offer different schedules, whether it's Monday through Friday, or might be weekends, might be third shift, we have to work overnight, might have to be on call. So that can really have a wide variety depending on the position that you're looking for, and then the company that you're working for. And then the dress code. Some are very casual, you can wear jeans, shorts, whatever. Some are business casual, some are still shirt and tie, or suits for men and women. So make sure you understand what the different dress codes are. And then daycare. Some even offer on-site daycare or some daycare subsidies for employees that need that. And then what you'll see when you do work at an employer, or what you should see, is a total comp statement. And total comp statements help you really see what does the employer provide for you that is beyond just the basic compensation that you see in your paycheck. And a lot of that total comp is wrapped up in what I'd already talked about, those different benefits that the employer might pay for. Maybe it's a parking stipend that they pay for. And so what the total comp statement shows is what was the employer cost. So how much did the employer pay for all of those different benefits that they're providing for you? And then what your cost is. And then you'll see at the bottom here, it's a summary. So it shows the benefits compensation that the provider, that the employer gave you. So that's $10,000 over the $30,000 regular compensation that you would get. So it's not uncommon to see total comp as being an extra 10 to 20%, or 10 to 20,000 more in addition to your regular salaries. So don't discount how valuable that really is. And can't emphasize enough, start saving early for retirement. Now is the time to start saving, sooner rather than later. Never think that it's too soon to start saving. We're seeing a lot of studies that show that the sooner the better. Even if you try to save more later, you can really have more buying power now and more potential savings if you start now. So these are 3 different scenarios that show 3 different people that started saving at different points in their lives. So Susan, she is this blue line here in the middle. She starts investing between ages 25 and then she stops at 35. So she saves for about 10 years and she saves $5,000 annually in that time. And so you'll see she started saving, but then she stopped. And so you'll see her savings just accrues to about $500,000 by the time she's 65 and ready to retire. Then you see Bill. Bill is this kind of purple line here at the bottom. He waits until he's 35. He saves for 30 years until he's ready to retire at 65. He does the same amount as Susan. He does $50,000 or $5,000 a year. But you'll see he still comes up short, less than what Susan did, because he started 10 years after she did. Chris really maximizes the opportunity to save. So he starts at 25, he saves all the way up until he's ready to retire at 65, and he does the same amount, the same $5,000 a year, and you'll see he has over $1 million by the time he's ready to retire. So start early, okay? The earlier the better, your money will start accruing more now than it will 10 years from now. And I just want to give you, or show you a video. This is, I don't know if you've seen this, it's a Travel Channel documentary on Google. But I thought this is a really good way to summarize all of the different possible employer benefits that you might see out in the job market. Now, not every company has what Google has, so this is kind of pie in the sky, the ideal. But it's a good summary so that you can see all the different things that you might have up there. And we see more corporations, especially the tech firms, going this direction. So
this is Google in Mountain View, California. Home of the most extreme office perks in the country.
everything you can imagine. Google really takes care of us. I'm much healthier and happier for it.
And it all goes down at Google's main headquarters, aka the Googleplex. One giant funhouse.
When I first met the founders, I walked into our office and found Larry Page on rollerblades and Sergey Brin bouncing around on a physio ball, and I knew that this was no normal standard company.
That's an understatement. Spanning over 1 million square feet, the Googleplex is 2.5 times the size of Giant Stadium. Comprised of 16 buildings, which house the thousands of employees who are lucky enough to work here. And just like the campus, the perks are endless.
If you open your eyes, it's hard to miss them.
One of the most crowd-pleasing perks, that would be the food.
Food here at Google is part of our culture. We have a variety of restaurants serving all sorts of different styles of food, from tapas, small plates, or ethnic foods, Indian to Asian to South American.
That's right. Instead of your typical little lunchroom, Google has 18 different cafes serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
The food is really incredible because there's so many options.
And the best part? All the meals are free. That's right. Free. What could be better than a free lunch? Free barbecue. In the summer, Google takes it outside for some serious grilling. But if that doesn't get your mouth watering, how about this?
One of the cafes is called Cafe 150. Everything served there comes from within 150 miles of Google. It's all delicious, healthy, mostly organic, and locally grown food.
And if eating locally is eco-friendly, Google takes it one step further, because they grow their own food right on campus.
Our employees are excited with the cafe that says Google strawberries and key lime Google pie.
But even that's not enough free food for these employees. Because Google makes sure there are unlimited munchies within a few feet of everyone's desks.
We're about, 40 feet from where I sit at my desk.
And unlike your average workplace, Google provides more than an old coffee pot and creamer. They hook it up fancy Java style. And oh yeah, it's all on the house.
I get up from my desk quite a bit to make myself espresso and keep going.
But if employees feel like they've had too much to eat, Google's got the perk to take care of it. Not one, not two, but 4 fully loaded gyms. And you guessed it, they're all free.
Having the gym here at Google's been great for me because it's allowed me to train for 2 marathons. I've been much healthier and happier, and definitely getting those lunch runs in has been perfect for getting back to work. It's made me so much more productive.
And for those employees gunning for a six-pack, Google even has personal trainers on site.
It's a great asset having the personal trainers here. They really work on you and help keep our workforce fit.
After feeling the burn, there's only one thing left to do. Get a massage. Once a year on their birthdays, these lucky Googlers get a free rub down.
Anything that's bothering you today? Neck, shoulders, back?
Feeling sleepy after that? Employees can nap in sleeping pods while listening to some relaxing music. Still not enough TLC?
Yep.
There's also a doctor's office to take care of any aches and pains.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rizabi. How are you today?
And of course, no doctor's bill. But Google doesn't just take care of their employees' bodies. The company also does their laundry. That's right. Google provides on-site laundromats for their employees' dirty clothes.
You can show up for your day with a bag of laundry over your shoulders, throw your laundry in our washroom area, go to work, and go home with your laundry done.
Doing laundry at the office is a Google tradition. Founders Larry and Sergey have been pulling this act for years.
They would work in this garage at the home of a friend. They would also do their laundry. The owner of the home used to complain they would cost her more money in utility bills than they were actually paying in rent.
I just got out of work, I went to the gym, worked out for like an hour, and now I'm here doing my laundry. How cool is that? Where else can you do this, right?
Only at Google. But even with all these amazing perks, sometimes Googlers want to leave the campus. And when they do, the company provides the wheels. And no, these aren't your average gas guzzlers.
We have both plug-in Priuses and regular Priuses. So any employee that wants to check out a car and do some errands, they just have to use this really simple electronic key, and they zip away. When they're done, they just plug the car back in, and then the car gets recharged.
Free car? You better believe it. And when these lucky employees come back to Google after running some errands, there's only one place left to go. The sleeping pods. Hold up, we're not done. Because the Googleplex in Mountain View, California is just one of 68 other extreme Google workplaces around the world. First,
So that's just a sample of the different benefits that are out there. Again, don't expect every company to be like Google, but how many of you would take a smaller salary to have all the different benefits that Google offers? Yeah. And keep in mind too, an employer that offers free food like that, it's usually because you're there a lot. So it's a convenience for you because you're there working quite a bit, and so it's nice to be able to just go and grab something and continue throughout your day. But it does help make the employer's work-life balance better for that too. So I'm going to turn it back over to David to continue the rest.
Thanks, Jennifer. And right here in our own backyard, Darden Restaurants' corporate headquarters are here. It's the only Fortune 500 corporate headquarters that we have here in the Central Florida area, and they do offer some of these perks like this. They do have a wonderful on-site gym. They don't have free food, but they have a very similar station set up with really discounted food. There's a Starbucks right in the lobby. They have all these rooms throughout the building where it's constantly filled with snacks and coffee and fruits and vegetables for you to snack on for free throughout the day. So there's lots of different perks that are out there. So something to definitely consider as part of your entire compensation package. So since you guys are going to be Rollins grads, you're going to have to juggle multiple job offers, right? Hopefully that's where you'll be. So this part of the session is I wanted to kind of engage you all in some discussions about how to handle multiple job offers and how to handle some sticky situations that might come up. So I've got two different scenarios that I wanted to run through. The first one has to do with Tommy here with ABC Company. He received a job offer from his summer internship experience that he's had. He's very happy. He loves where he was working, but he wants to keep his options open and continue interviewing during the fall semester. But the problem is the company wants him to make a decision by October 1st. So what's Tommy to do, right? So that's one scenario. The second scenario is with XYZ Company, and Sally participated in the Rollins on-campus recruiting process, and she received a job offer with her second choice company. And they wanted a decision within a week. But she also has a second interview with her first choice company. That's not going to happen for another 2 weeks from now. So what should Sally do? So how would you handle, say, Tommy's situation? How would you handle where he really liked his internship experience, but he wants to keep his options open, but a company wants an answer? Yeah?
Notify the supervisor that he wants to keep his options open and make the effort to do job research in September.
That's a great suggestion. Any others? How about Sally? How would you handle Sally's situation? She got an offer from her second choice company, but she has a second interview with her first choice company, but she has to give the other company an answer. How would you deal with that? That's okay, I have answers on the next. So here are some strategies you may want to consider if you are pressed for time, and you may have some room for negotiation. So here are some things that Tommy could consider doing in his scenario. He may want to ask for more time. What's the worst that could happen? They could say no. He may have to give up interviewing for other opportunities. He should be evaluating other offers that he might get. He should be researching salary data. And if he does receive another offer, he might have some more leverage to go back and negotiate his salary. So those are just some strategies. There's no right or wrong answer to it. But those are things that Tommy could consider. And then with Sally, Sally could do a couple different things. If she wants to try to interview with her first choice company, she might want to ask for more time from her second choice company, but at the same time, she'll need to ask her first choice company if they can schedule her interview sooner. What's the harm in picking up the phone and asking if you can, instead of waiting 2 weeks, if it's possible for you to come in and interview sooner? So that's a strategy you may want to consider. And she may also want to tell the other company that she does have another job offer. Now that doesn't always work, that strategy. An organization isn't necessarily going to give in to pressure from an applicant saying that they have another offer, but sometimes they will, especially if you're able to demonstrate the value and you're the right fit candidate for the position. And if they want you, they're probably going to bend and try to work with you and negotiate to make that happen. And during the process, she should always be evaluating other offers that she gets and looking at salary data. Excuse me. So some other things in weighing your options in making these decisions is, here are some reasons why Tommy should consider interviewing. Right? Maybe if he waits to make his decision, he can compare job offers that he gets. If he receives another offer, he might be in a position to negotiate. And then there are times as you're going through this process, you may be opened up to opportunities and jobs or organizations that you didn't even know existed yet. And some reasons why to go ahead and accept the offer once it's made to you. Accept it right away because you have more time to finish your schoolwork and enjoy your last semester that you have here at Rollins. And if you already enjoyed working at this organization as an intern and it felt like a really good fit, go ahead and accept the offer. If you already enjoy and know what you're going to be doing, go for it. With Sally, some reasons that Sally may want to continue interviewing. If she waits to make her decision, she may get an offer with her first choice company. And then if she receives 2 offers, then she can maybe negotiate the 2, leverage the 2 against each other. So that's a strategy to continue interviewing. But then reasons to just go ahead and accept it is, what happens if she finds out that her second choice company and job offer is actually better than what she really thought the first offer would be? So I guess the takeaway in that exercise is there's no right and wrong decision for Sally or Tommy. It's really going to depend on what you're looking for. So these are things that you're going to be faced, hopefully, in having multiple offers out there. And that's why it's important for you to identify and think about what's important to you. What do you value? And what are you looking for out of your job experience? And that will help guide your decision-making process. So gather your facts, make a pros and cons list, talk to people you trust, family, friends, staff at the Career Services Center, faculty, friends, and just talk and think it through and make the decision that's going to work best for you. So now you're ready to start negotiating your salary and other things related to your job. So what I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides are some things to help you get ready for the negotiation of your salary. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about how to prepare for that. Talk about research. We touched upon that a little bit earlier. How to create an effective presentation of yourself when you go back to that recruiter or hiring manager. The importance of practicing what you're going to say. And then this is the one that gets everybody, is anticipating a negative reaction. They're going to say no, and that's okay. We can prepare for that. And then how do you follow up in making sure that once you've talked about different negotiation terms, what's appropriate and how do you do that? And then how to be patient as you wait for an answer. So let's talk about a couple of these. So how do you go about preparing to negotiate? You need to figure out what's important to you. What are you willing to negotiate? What I'm willing to negotiate for could be completely different than what Jennifer is willing to negotiate for. So try to think about what are those items besides salary. And I just put up a couple of examples, and this list could be whatever you want it to be, but it could be things like, as simple as getting a laptop computer to do your job. What type of training opportunities will be available to you? Will you be able to work on cool and exciting projects? Flex work hours, and a lot of the other things that Jennifer mentioned as part of the total comp package. So try to identify what's important to you, and then rank order them. If you were to get into a position, what are your bottom line? What are you willing to walk away with, and what not? What are you not willing to walk away with? And then research the company's salary expectations. So earlier I showed you some resources like Indeed.com, Glassdoor.com, Salary.com. Use those resources to figure out what appropriate salaries are for the different job titles and job descriptions that you're looking at. Do you know how the organization's compensation philosophy? Do they offer flat, fixed salaries regardless of who you are? Is it flexible? Is it open for negotiation? Those are things that you could learn and ask during the interview process. Network with other people who are alum, who've been through this before, who can give you some guidance. And then use the staff at the Career and Life Planning Center. And benchmark your salary research to make sure that you're getting competitive offers too. You want to make sure that an organization isn't lowballing you either. Organizations aren't typically in the business of doing that, but you want to make sure that if the salary is $50,000 for this market, that they're not offering you $25,000, right? You want to make sure that you're being paid fairly for the work that you're performing. Research what the hiring manager's expectations are. So this is a great example of a question that you could ask during the interview process, right? What are the top challenges that the organization is facing? This will give you intelligence that would help you later on in the negotiation process. So that way you could be in a position to talk about how you can add value and solve problems for them. So one way of doing that is you could create a nice report and give it to them and say, here's how I can solve your problems. Some organizations might be impressed with that. Others may not see any value in it. It's a strategy. I've seen people do it. And again, it's going to depend on the organization and the industry type. But think about how you could leverage the information that you learn about your potential supervisor and what those challenges are and how you will be able to fit and meet those needs for the organization. And then once you've done your research and you've done some of this, then how are you going to effectively present yourself back to the recruiter or the hiring manager? So some things that you want to be sure you're doing is be clear about what your terms are. You've identified what's important to you. You've identified what you're willing to negotiate. Try to pick some of the most important, realistic items that you think you'd be able to negotiate. You're not going to be able to negotiate everything. So try to pick maybe two that you think are realistic and being able to go back to an organization and ask about. Get your data together. It'll go better if you're able to provide some data to support what you're asking for. So salary, for example. If all your salary research shows that the position pays $50,000 in the Orlando market and they're offering you $40,000, that's a great way to go back and support why you're asking for more money. What I advise against doing is just don't go back and say, I want more money. You'd be surprised how many people do that. And that's just not an effective strategy. We all want to make more money, but if you're able to approach it in a methodical way where you've done some research and are able to provide some data, organizations are going to be more willing to listen and maybe are open to negotiating with you. So practice what you're going to say. Now that you've done the research, you've identified what you're willing to negotiate, think about how you're going to then follow up with the organization to ask it. I recommend doing it over the phone or in person rather than email or anything like that. And prepare. So practice, right? If it means standing in front of a mirror and practicing, if it's going to the career services office and asking to meet with a counselor and practice, get a friend or a family member and ask them to play the role of the recruiter. It's important to kind of work out those kinks ahead of time so that you don't stumble when you actually go and follow up with the hiring manager or the recruiter. Be calm, speak slowly, be confident in what you're asking for, and show enthusiasm that you are very interested in the position. Those are all helpful strategies that will help you, because it's uncomfortable going back, right, and asking for this type of information. So that's why I say practice, practice, practice makes perfect. So the next couple of slides that I have here, I'm not going to read them verbatim, but these are just some examples of ways that you could follow up with an organization to practice. So in this scenario here, the person's really excited about getting a couple of different offers, and it looks like there's a signing bonus with some of them, and they're hoping that this organization could match a signing bonus. So it sounds like this person didn't get a signing bonus. They really want to work with this organization. That's one way to go back and ask for a signing bonus. Another example here is where you are asking for an increase in the salary offered. So based on your research that you've done, and you found that the salary in this market is $50,000, they've offered you $40,000. This might be a strategy and a way to go back and present them some salary information to show them the justification of why you're asking for more money. The third example I have up here is one where it doesn't involve salary, but it's talking about a flexible work schedule. So you've done some networking with some Rollins alum, and you've learned that others that work at this organization can work flexible schedules. And looking at where you work and where the office is, you're going to have like an hour commute. Add in I-4 traffic we're going to have in the next 6 years, double that. So a way to go back and negotiate your start time and your work schedule. You'd be surprised how open and flexible an organization team may be. So that's another strategy in being able to ask for something other than salary. So that anticipating a negative response, right? You have to be prepared for it. So some things to think about are whether or not you're willing to walk away from the offer if your terms aren't met. This can be hard because emotions are involved sometimes, and you could be really emotionally invested in wanting to work for a particular organization, and you want to win, right? You want to win at the end of the day, and you want all of the things that you're negotiating to be accepted. The reality is it's probably not going to happen, so you need to figure out whether or not you're going to walk away from it if your terms aren't met. The other thing to think about too is if you love this organization, you love the work and the job that you'd be doing, no matter what, you're probably going to be less likely to push the issues. You could ask it, you could put it out there, and if they say no and you're okay with it, that's another strategy. And then if you have other offers that all seem good, you could probably negotiate a little bit more firmly and be a little bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, but you could be a little bit more forceful in the things that you're asking for. And if they say no, and it's okay, you've got other offers to consider. Just think about, though, how far you're willing to go and push, because you may potentially be working with this individual in the future, right? So you don't want to start your working relationship off on the wrong foot with that manager or the organization. So think about that. You're going to have to work with this person in the future, and you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself still in a professional manner during the negotiation process. So the follow-up. Now that you've made your presentation, you've asked for different things, now you're waiting, and this can be the hardest part, right? Because you're wondering, are they going to accept my terms or not? So some things to think about, what's happening on the employer side is sometimes if you're negotiating with a recruiter instead of the hiring manager, you may have to wait a little bit longer because there's some communication that has to go on between a department and an HR department. And people have their day-to-day responsibilities. People take vacations. People are out sick. People have meetings that are already scheduled. So everything doesn't always work on a perfect timeline. So you just need to be patient. And just remember, there are some things you can control in life, and there are other things that you can't control. Just know that the organization is probably working on getting an answer to you as quickly as they can. It's okay to ask the recruiter or the hiring manager when they're going to be able to get you an answer. Feel free to follow up with a phone call or an email. It's okay. Just don't be a pest about it, right? But it's okay, and it's okay to ask permission too, to say, Mr. Recruiter, is it okay if I follow up with you in a couple of days to check on the status? Would that be okay? So those are different strategies that you can use during the follow-up. And then if the company accepts the terms of your negotiation, you can celebrate, right? You have a job, you got everything you asked for, or maybe you got a couple things that you were asking for. So that's just kind of a 30,000-foot kind of description of how you might approach handling, negotiating different terms of job offer. What happens though if you've got to decline a job offer, right? So remember I mentioned earlier you had multiple job offers. Well, now you're going to tell an employer that you're not going to accept one of their offers. And it can be very uncomfortable, to tell an organization thanks but no thanks. Especially if you've already have a working relationship with that organization. Maybe you've done an internship with them over the summer. Maybe you have a family or friend that works there who referred you. It could be a number of reasons why, but it's uncomfortable and that's okay as long as you're self-aware and recognize that going in. So some best practices to go about declining an offer could be, decline it over the phone or in person. Okay, it's much more professional to handle it that way rather than sending an email. Never ever send a text. Never send a text. There's not a place for that when it comes to declining an offer. But also thank and appreciate them for making the offer to you, because you never know. It may not be the right opportunity today, but you never know what could happen down the road. Maybe another position opens that is more in line with what you're looking for, that pays more, or maybe this other offer that you got from another organization is just a better fit for you right now at this point in your life. So don't burn that bridge, right? So you never want to leave things on negative terms. So here's just a quick example of something that you could say. Thank them for the job offer. Let them know that it was a difficult decision for you. And let them know that you've accepted another offer. It's okay. Be open. Be transparent with them. Thank them for the internship experience. Maybe express some of the things that you learned and gained from that experience that are going to help you in your career. And, leave that door open. One thing not to do, and this is a trap that some students fall into, just don't accept every job that gets offered to you, because that's one sure way to burn some bridges. So just make sure that if you accept a job, that you truly intend to take that job, because you don't want to be the one who has to follow that employer and have to renege on the acceptance that you have. So don't burn your bridges there. Just be open and honest with them why you're not accepting them. So just a couple closing thoughts and reminders. Research and practice are going to really help you make the best decisions when you get some job offers. So the time you invest on the front end and prepare will pay off dividends at the end of the interview process. And consult with others in your network to make a decision. You don't have to work in isolation. You've got trusted friends and family. You've got great staff over in the Career and Life Planning Center. Utilize those services. As students here at Rollins, you have so many resources available to you. Sessions like this are absolutely wonderful opportunities for you to learn more now, so that you can prepare. So when you do get to a point where you're ready to start interviewing internships and full-time jobs, you're ready and you're not waiting until the last moment. And just remember, you're the final decision maker, right? So don't let people try to sway you. People are going to try to give you feedback and advice, but if you know in your heart it's not a job that you want to do or something, don't let people influence you. You need to make the best decision that works for you, because ultimately at the end of the day, you want to take advantage of a job opportunity that's going to enable you to be a global citizen, a responsible leader who pursues a meaningful life, a productive career that ultimately makes you happy. At the end of the day, you want to be happy and enjoy what you're doing.